Have you ever been tempted to make your mouse enclosure bioactive to save time, money and give them more enrichment, but you've just been putting it off? Because that was me. I really wanted to do it, but I was just pushing it to the side. But I finally set aside time to do it, and as you can see behind me, it is finished. I filmed the entire process start to finish of making this bioactive, so here is that entire process. So the substrate itself is not a singular substrate, although you can just use topsoil or cocoa fibre if you want to. Adding in many different elements mixed into the soil firstly helps the cleanup crew, the organisms that I'll be adding in later, by providing them with an ecosystem to thrive in, but it also gives different textures that will help to add structure to any burrows your mice decide to dig. So I'm personally choosing to add in a bag of topsoil, a bag of cocoa fibre, dust extracted hay, bark chips, leaf litter and moss, and just making sure this is all well mixed together, but the mice will also do a pretty good job of mixing this and turning the soil too. Now if you're used to seeing or doing bioactives with reptiles, you might be wondering why there's no drainage layer, and this simply isn't feasible when it comes to mice. They would dig down, mix it up, chew on any drainage barrier, so instead you just have to make sure the soil is turned on a regular basis and water is added occasionally. So I also added in a few more things as part of the soil. These were mostly for the benefit of the cleanup crew, but they're also safe for mice too, so things like cork pieces added in. These are places for the cleanup crew to hide away from the mice, and also added in areas of air for the beneficial bacteria to grow. And as you'll see later on in the video, cuttlefish as a calcium source for the bugs too, which I definitely forgot to do when I should have done. So when it comes to the cleanup crew, these are the organisms that will break down any waste your mice produce, and these are the part that actually makes the enclosure bioactive, alongside beneficial bacteria. Now your mice will see most of these as a snack and eat them over time. This is perfectly safe for them and actually a good source of enrichment, but it does mean that every couple of months you are going to have to buy more or breed more and add them in to keep it topped up. So I have chosen to go with grey isopods, earthworms to aerate the soil, springtails and mealworms, but I recommend at minimum at least putting in springtails and some species of isopod. So as the setup progresses, there might be an initial smell just at first that might put you off and think about tearing everything apart and just going back to normal substrate, but this is just the bacteria working to break down any ammonia and nitrites in the soil, and as it becomes more established, this should go away, so try to stick with it. then adding in a product called BioBoost. I think there is an American version of this, but I will link where I bought this from in the description. And this basically just gets the soil off to a good start and jump starts the nitrogen cycle, a bit like you would with a fish tank, by adding in beneficial bacteria to the soil. So this is generously sprayed onto the soil to begin with, and then again in about 2 weeks time, and then roughly every couple of months, every 2 to 3 months, once the tank is established. So I left the enclosure and the soil to establish for about 2 weeks, just before putting in any of the mice. Some people do recommend leaving it longer and waiting about a month, but I needed my spare cage back, so then came the fun part of putting back in all of their accessories that have been taking over my pet room floor for the past 2 weeks. So this is the finished result. I'm so happy with the way this looks. I have got to rearrange everything on the top because otherwise it's going to clash and bang into everything on the bottom, but I just thought I'd quickly talk you through everything inside because obviously I've shown you in detail everything that's gone into the soil, but not really the accessories. So starting over on this side, we have one of their Night Angel wheels, and that is on top of a multi-chamber hide, and inside of that is Carefresh bedding, I think. And then we also have a ceramic hide. I think this was made by Trixie. We then also have a ceramic plant pot with one of their herbs in, and then this wooden thing at the back that has a couple of sprays and millet and also some cork granules. And then over on this side we have a big cork log that has some dried flowers in, and then some more sprays, this tunnel thing holding the sprays, a chew toy, a bendy bridge, more chew toys. We also have this multi-chamber hide. This is by Accessories and they love using this. This just has their water on and another ceramic hide. Then at the back, so most of their toys and accessories are buried under the soil or the hay or the forage. This is a wooden seesaw, and then we have another bendy bridge with some moss on. And then they also have this. This was quite expensive. I think it's supposed to be a fish tank decoration, but I just couldn't pass up the chance of them having a really cute mushroom house. So if I can find this anywhere on Amazon or anything, I will try to link that because I did buy that in a physical pet store. And then they just have another Night Angel wheel because there is a lot of them. This hide, another cork log, a water bottle, and then this I think is supposed to be for growing strawberries. Inside I've just put another herb which has already wilted and died. I bought these yesterday, so I don't know what's going on there, but they've also got some more cork granules and then a tiny carrot. So I think that's everything. They have a coconut, another hide down there, some more sprays in a log and a pine cone, but I think that is everything. And then just to quickly talk you through everything on the top, they've got this rope, bridge, ladder thing. They've also got these seesaw ropes that go all the way through, and they are due a clean, so I will do that at some point in the next few weeks. And then they have this foraging toy. It's one of the only foraging toys I've found that I can sell in my store that's kind of the right size for mice, so they love using this. It's really easy and simple for them. We then have a bunch of toys made by Clyde's Critter Climbers. We have this one which has a pumice stone, and then this ladder at the back. We also have a coconut which has a ladder on that goes all the way down to the ground. And then we also have a hammock. This one has not been in here for too long and it's not too dirty, so I'm not going to switch that out, but I do switch it out for different patterns and clean ones. And then we have another foraging toy. This one is made from bamboo and they have to move the different parts to get the food out. And then we have another ladder bridge situation. That again could do with a clean, so I will do that at some point in the next few weeks. And then a random zip tie that does not belong anywhere. Okay, I will take that off in a second. And then also this hanging wooden house, which surprisingly they really like, and I often find them in here. Then of course, once that was done, it was time to add in the mice and see what they think. And one of the driving factors of me doing this was my two elderly mice. They were getting quite sensitive to certain things and they were very old. And one of them unfortunately passed away, Possum, before he could experience this. And I was really hoping that he could see it, but we still have my other elderly boy, Flurry. And as you can see in these clips, he's a bit wobbly, he's got quite sensitive skin and eyes, and I was really hoping a change in substrate would be a lot more sensitive friendly. So I'm hoping to see improvements with that, but he's still going, he's still managing to get around and do things, so this was mostly for him. that is their new Bioactive setup. They've been in there now, I think, for a couple of weeks, and so far so good. I am having to spray the soil just with water every day or so, just to make sure it doesn't get too dry, and I have gone back in with the Bio Boost and added that onto the soil as well. There is a very, very slight smell, not as bad as people describe on the internet, or as bad as I imagined at this point. Honestly, sometimes about 2-3 weeks in to needing a clean, they are smelling a lot worse with like shaving type beddings, so nowhere near as bad as I was expecting. There is a slight smell, but that should, as I mentioned, clear up as things start to establish. And I am going to have to, in about a week or so, pull everything out, turn the soil, and then put it back in. But they seem to be really, really enjoying themselves. I've not seen any tunnels at the front of the enclosure, which I was really hoping for. They have made a few in like the middle section, and they disappeared down those. And my shy mice, I don't see them anywhere near as often as I used to, which is a shame, but they are enjoying themselves and that's what they want, so it is all for them, of course. And things like the forage, like the hay, and also like the herbs and the leaves, I am having to top that up quite often because the mice obviously eating that, enjoying that, and I think the cleanup crew are also helping themselves, so that does go down pretty quickly and just go down to soil, so having to do that quite often, but they are just loving it. But I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this. This is obviously my first time doing this with the mice, and I've just been learning as I go along. There are some really helpful groups on Facebook. There's one that's called Bioactive Mammals, I think, and then also Bioactive Naturalistic Rats. I got most of my resources and information from those, so I'll link those in the description, just in case you're interested in doing this for your mice, or rats, or other mammals like hedgehogs. There is some really good information on there, so those will be down in the description. But thank you for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!